Hey everyone, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so excited to get started on this free little money mindset class. I've been wanting to do kind of more of an informal workshop for a while. I often do every month or two, I do a really formal live workshop with slides and like all that kind of stuff. And that's really fun. And it's really great for taking notes when you have slides. But I feel like every once in a while, it's just kind of fun to just pop on face to face and kind of do one of these. It's echoing. Okay, hang on just a second. Thank you for letting me know. Let's see, save. Okay, let me know if it's echoing for anyone else, how the video quality looks and all of that. Let me know in the chat. That's really helpful since I'm not watching my own playback. Hey, Dana. Does everything look good from everybody else's end? Let me know. All right. Okay. Thank you so much. Let me know in the chat if the video cuts out or the sound or anything like that. I'm not watching my own playback today since I'm doing this on camera. If my internet cuts out for any reason, it has been really spotty the past couple of weeks. I don't know why. But if it cuts out, just bear with me. I'll jump right back on as soon as the page kind of refreshes. It's been doing that a lot lately. So bear with me. Okay, thank you. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I know that it's hard to jump on and join a live video during the day. If you're here in the States, it's like right in the middle of the day, which is sometimes hard, especially if you have little kids. So I really appreciate you guys taking this time. I never take that for granted when you guys choose to spend part of your day with me. And if you're watching this replay, I also appreciate that. You guys are so sweet and supportive, and I never take that for granted. So thank you guys so much. So for those of you who don't know me, maybe new here, I'm Sami Womack from A Sunny Side Up Life. And I blog at asunnysideuplife.com. I'm here on YouTube. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, everywhere that I have time to be. I have a great email list, all of that good stuff. But first and foremost, I am a wife to my husband, Daniel. We've been married almost 10 years now, and we started dating in high school. So we've been together a really long time, about almost 15 years now total. I'm a mom to 3 daughters. My oldest is June, and she's 6. Isabel is 4, and Melanie is 2. And we're a homeschooling family, and we're from East Texas. So just a little bit about us. So a little over 3 years ago, we got started on our debt-free journey, and we started our journey a lot like a lot of you. We were scared, we were overwhelmed, and when we finally added up our debt after about 3 months of kind of tracking our spending and procrastinating on finding our debt total, we found out that we were in about $490,000 worth of debt, which was a complete shock. Like, that is how out of control our debt is. And I get emails all the time with people who add up their debt and they're completely shocked and they're like, I feel so bad, like I didn't even know. And no, if you feel that way, you are totally not alone. That's exactly the way it was for us as well. So fast forward through this journey, and during all of this journey, God has shown me a lot, and I've learned a lot of lessons, which is a lot of what I want to talk to you guys about here today. But one of the biggest lessons that I've learned is that this journey is about so much more than just money. And it turned out to be about so much more than just my own family. And I found out that part of my calling with this journey was to help my fellow women help their families and take control of their own lives. And so through this journey, I feel like this is what I've been called to do. So over the past year and a half, I have been working through my website, asunnysideuplife.com, and through all my other social media outlets. And I've been coaching and encouraging families through budgeting and intentional living and positive thinking, and not just all of that kind of stuff. It's not just budgeting. I feel like there's so much more to it than just the money. So I try to implement a lot of intentional living and positive thinking, and I do my motivational Mondays here on YouTube. So I think it's really important to kind of stay motivated and kind of check in once a week and like regroup and get that motivation back. So basically my mission is to just help ladies break free from survival mode and move into this abundant life that I feel like we were all called to live. So like I said, we've been on this journey. We recently, a few weeks ago, became debt free. Our last debt was our house that we were living in, and we sold it. And we are 100% debt free right now. And there's a Motivational Monday video a couple of weeks ago that talks a little bit more about that. If you haven't seen that yet, you should go and check it out. We literally closed on our house that morning, and I recorded the video a couple hours later. And it's kind of funny to watch it because I was just like so in shock. Like I didn't even really know what to say. And it was a crazy day. So I've been reflecting these past few years on, this whole journey and sharing it with you guys. And I want to take this time to share my top 5 lessons learned on this debt-free journey. So the very first one is probably one of my favorite lessons that I've ever learned, is that you can't stop time. And a lot of us know, especially if you have kids, you know that time just keeps on going. Like, especially when you have kids, like you want your babies to stay little, and time just seems like it flies by as soon as you start having kids, right? But you can't stop it, and time just keeps going on. And no matter what we do, time is going to keep going. And that's something that I learned. And I learned that we might as well make good use of the time that we have, because a year from now, we're all going to be a year older. Our kids are going to be a year older. We're going to be, we could be a year closer to our goals if we use that time intentionally and we take advantage of the time that we have, because we can't stop it. So we might as well make the best of it, right? And I think that is one of my ultimate favorite lessons that I have learned, and that has really helped me in every aspect of my life to just be intentional with the time that we do have. And on that note of being intentional with the time that we have, I have realized that a lot of the times we don't start a new journey, whether it's a budgeting journey or a spiritual journey or a health journey or whatever kind of goals you're on, which we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute, about how all of those really tie together. But it is actually harder before you start, right? So before you actually start budgeting, we think that it's going to be really hard, and we think that this budget is going to suffocate us and like we're never going to have any fun ever again. But it is actually the complete opposite. It is way harder the year before you start budgeting. That year before we started budgeting was the hardest year. We've been married almost 10 years now, which is not forever, but it's a pretty good amount of time for us to look back and really reflect on what we were doing each of those years of our marriage. And the year before we started budgeting was the hardest year because we were in survival mode. We got our electricity cut off, I think like 2 or 3 times in that same year. Almost every payday, our bank account was negative. By the time payday rolled around, we'd spend like 2 or 3 days with our bank account negative, just waiting for that direct deposit to hit. That year was way harder than tracking our spending or, not going out to eat as much and actually saving so we could have an emergency fund when emergencies came up. So it was harder before we started than actually going through it. And that is something that nobody told me. I learned that the hard way. And I'm really thankful that I learned that lesson. And I think that you can take that and turn it into anything. So it's always, like you don't want to get started exercising, but once you start to lose weight, you feel so much better than you did beforehand. And also I think another good lesson learned is that it's really not about what you're giving up. It's about what you're gaining. And that kind of ties into, it was harder before you started, but it's really not about what you're giving up. So yeah, you do give up a few frivolous things. You give up like sporadic trips to Target where you just blow $100 on random crap. You give up that kind of stuff. You might give up so many dinners out to restaurants. You might give up, you know, buying a new pair of jeans every couple of months or something, and might have to like make do with 2 or 3 pairs in a year. Things like that, like silly things. You give up that kind of stuff. But what you gain is the peace of mind. You gain that assurance, like that safety net of having a savings account. You gain that momentum of like, once you start paying off debt, it is addictive, and you just keep going and you keep going and you keep going because you just want to reach those goals, and you just want to do better and better and better, and you keep pushing yourself to do better and better and better. And it really spills over into every single aspect of your life, because once you start doing good at something, you get addicted to that high of succeeding, and you just want to succeed at other things. That's the kind of stuff that you gain. You gain that peace. You gain like actually achieving your goals. You gain the security of knowing that you're going to be able to retire at whatever age, whatever your goal age of retirement is. You gain just the simple things like knowing that when you swipe your debit card at the grocery store, that it's actually going to get accepted. That was something that didn't used to happen to me. It was always like a toss up of like, is there enough money in there? I'm not really even sure. You gain the peace of mind of knowing your electricity is not going to get cut off. I think that gaining that kind of stuff is way more important than what you give up. You give up like random trips to a restaurant, you know, like $50 meals at a restaurant. That's really silly. Like, you can do without that kind of stuff, right? That was a lesson that I had heard people say that, but I'm just like, yeah, okay, well, I like to eat out, so you don't know me. Like, I like to get new clothes, you don't know me. But living it, I have learned that lesson. Also, like I said before, I've learned that this journey is about so much more than just money. And it's about just like that, how you feel so awesome. Like you're actually doing something important with your life. You know, you're not just surviving. You're not just scraping by. You're actually reaching your goals, and you're doing this amazing thing for your family. You're securing a future for your kids. Maybe you're saving up for them to go to college, or maybe one of your goals is to retire at a really good age, or to get your spouse to retire at a good age, or to travel. You know, those experiences and those goals that you have, they're about so much more than just the money figure attached to them. And of course, you know, it is budgeting and it is about money, but that money stuff there's so much more to it. And I've really, really learned that. And it's a spiritual journey. It's a growth of your entire life. And the fifth lesson that I've learned is that I used to be scared of setting goals. And I talked about this a couple of videos ago at the end of the year, talking about setting goals. And I was not a goal setting person at all. Like, I thought it was cheesy to write down your goals. And I felt silly because you would always see people like declare on Facebook that they had this New Year's resolution, and then 2 or 3 months in, they had completely forgotten it and they embarrassed themselves. And I was like, I don't want to be that person. I'm not that person at all. So I didn't set goals. I didn't write my goals down. But I have learned through this that how important it is to write those goals down, and that goals, it used to seem like a cheesy word to me, but goals are really just dreams that you write down and you take action on. And now I'm a total goals person, and I'm all about my goals, and I'm all about hitting those daily goals and those weekly goals and those monthly goals. And that is life for me. So I also wanted to share with you guys just a couple of tips for establishing a good money mindset. Because like I said, I don't just coach people through budgeting. I also help them with their mindset and their intentionality in their life, because I really feel like that is the foundation of everything that we do here. So establishing a good money mindset is really step one for me, and it is in everything that I teach. And the very first thing that I always say to people, if you've signed up for my free email course, this is what I say in my very first lesson is you have to establish your why. What is your why? Why are you doing this? If you don't know why you're doing this, you are not going to be successful. You have to know why. And so I ask you in that first lesson of that email to hit reply, tell me your why. And the reason why I do that is because I want people to think about it. I want them to write it down, type it out, whatever, and declare that that is why they're doing this. And I want you to know why you're doing it. And a lot of times I'll tell people, you know, print that out, write that down, put it on an index card or a Post-it note, put it on your bathroom mirror, put it inside your wallet, put it in your journal, put it on top of your daily planner, whatever you need to do to remember why you are doing this. Because if you don't know why, when those hard days come up or, you know, you have a weak moment and you binge out on crap at Target, or your tire blows out and you have to drain your savings and you just started saving. That happens all the time. You just started saving and then you have to replace a tire, or your car breaks down, or your kid gets sick, or whatever. And those times are going to happen because life just happens. It's not that life is picking on you. It happens to all of us. So when those kind of things happen, you have to know why you started in the first place, or you're going to give up. So you have to know your why, whether your why be just because you're sick and tired of feeling like this, or your why is you want your kids to have a better life, or you want your husband to retire from this job that he hates, or you want to become a stay-at-home parent, or you want to start a business, or you want to travel. We all have our reasons why, but the important thing is to know your why, and to stick to that and reflect on it, especially when times are hard. Also, to write down your goals. I told you guys that I was not a goal writer, but I had to learn to be throughout this process. So writing down those goals is going to help you track them. It's going to help you see the progress. You're going to be able to take those big picture goals of like, okay, I want to retire at 50 years old and I want to have a paid off house and I want to travel, whatever your big picture goal is. And then you break it down backwards. You work backwards from that. Okay, well, that's however many years away. That's 20 years away. That's 30 years away, however many years away it is. And this is how much money we'll need to save between now and then. And it helps you break that down. Okay, well, this year we need to save this much. Then you can break it down even farther into months, into weeks, into days. And then you can know those little steps that you need to take every single day to get to where you want to be, every single week, every single paycheck, every single month. And eventually, like I said, you can't stop time. So if you're taking those little baby steps every single day and every single week and month, it is going to add up to this amazing life. And you're going to wake up 3 or 4 years into your journey, like where we are now, and you're going to look back and go, oh my gosh, this really works. And it's going to feel amazing. But you have to start by writing down your goals. You have to know why you're doing it. And you have to take those action steps and turn those dreams into action steps and start working on them. So don't be afraid to write down your goals at all. Also, like I said, this is about so much more than money. This is about growth. This is about true success. This isn't a quick fix. This isn't like I'm going to teach you how to just clip some coupons or do a spending challenge or do something like that. And then we're just going to quit. Like, this is long-term growth. So one of the things that you have to do is practice growing that positivity muscle, practice growing that success muscle, because the more you work that muscle, the stronger it will get and the easier all of this will become. So some of the ways to do that is by practicing affirmations. I actually have a blog and a video about some ways that affirmations can really help you. Another thing that I thought was so cheesy when I first started, and I was like, I'm not going to do affirmations. Who does affirmations? Affirmations are amazing and they will help you. And basically, if you don't know what affirmations are, they're positive words that you tell yourself that help you. They help slowly get into your subconscious and they become the way you think. Like for me, I used to not be a morning person. So waking up early was before my kids was like nearly impossible for me. So I started saying this affirmation to myself. I'm a morning person. I thrive from waking up early. That is exactly what it said, because I used to say it so many times that I can hear it. So now when I want to sleep in, my subconscious pops in and it says, you are a morning person, Sami, and remember that you have better days and you thrive when you wake up early. And I'm like, oh yeah, subconscious, you're right. And that is what happens when you do affirmations. So if you haven't read that blog or seen that video, check it out after this, and it's gonna be so helpful about how those affirmations can help you grow that positivity muscle. Also, journaling. Journaling is something that I didn't used to do before we started this journey. But just getting those thoughts out, getting those insecurities out, getting those worries, those fears, those prayers, those whatever you need out of your head, so you can have more room for productive stuff in your head, and putting them in a place in a journal where no one else is going to see them. You don't have to publish it on Facebook. You don't have to put it on Instagram. You don't have to tell anybody about it. You put it in your journal. It's there. You can get it out, and you can have more room in your head for positivity and growth. And it helps so much. Also, just expanding your thoughts, working on positive thinking, and expanding your words. If you haven't read The Power of Positive Thinking, it is an amazing book and one of my all-time favorite books. And it will help you learn how to grow that positivity muscle, and it will help you retrain your thoughts into something positive and retrain your words into something positive and start attracting more positivity in your life. And, you know, like I said, this is about so much more than just money. And that is a huge part of what I do in my business and what I do in my personal life and everything. Also focusing on the big picture. So your money mindset is about achieving your dreams. So breaking free of that living for the weekend mentality and stepping into an abundance mindset and focusing on that big picture is really the most important thing, I think. And just realizing that there's so much more out there than just survival mode. And every once in a while, I still slip back into it, and I still slip into a scarcity mindset, and I still slip into, well, what if there's not enough? What if there's not enough money? What if there's not enough food? What if I'm not enough? What if? And it's a scarcity mindset. And the times that I have let myself feel into an abundance mindset and feel like all of the possibilities are open to me, and we can achieve those dreams, and stepping into that bigger picture, into that abundant mindset, has really helped me grow in literally every single aspect of my life, and feeling like I was worthy. I was worthy of that abundance. And when you're in survival mode, that's something that is really hard to believe. It's really hard to believe that there is more to life, and it's really hard to believe that you deserve more, and that you're worthy of more. So all of this, these are all steps for a money mindset. Like I said, it is about so much more than just money. It is about so much more than just keeping the budget balanced. And we have to start with that good mindset. So know your why, write down your goals, practice growing that positivity muscle through affirmations, journaling, positive thinking, all of those things. Focus on the big picture and believe that you are worthy. Those are the most important things with your money mindset. I'm going to take a quick drink of water, guys. So I also want to talk about some habits to adopt to be more successful with money. Okay, so we talked about mindset and all that kind of stuff, but what are some actual habits? What are some action steps? I'm always like an action person, like cut straight to the action, okay? Like, what do I actually do? So, like I said, I'll say it again because it's so important. Write down your goals. Start with your long-term, big picture goals, break them down into yearly goals, and they can be rough goals, okay? If you write down a goal for 10 years from now, it's not set in stone. Like, you can change it, you can update it, you can adapt it, but it's good to at least start thinking about it. Our goals have changed numerous times. If you would have asked me 4 years ago where I was going to be right now, I would not have told you I was going to be right here. It's okay for your goals to change. But it's really important to at least start thinking about where you want to be long-term and the steps that you need to take daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly to get there. So write down those goals, check in with them often, okay? And make sure, that you're breaking them down small enough that you can actually take action on them. So for example, some of my daily goals are things like exercising, having some Bible time, bedtime at a decent hour, waking up at a decent hour, just small things like that. Or, maybe you're doing like a no spend month, or maybe you're trying to cut back on your spending, and that can be one of your daily goals. Like, don't go out to eat. That could be a really good daily goal. Pack your lunch, drink water, all these kind of things. And then you can break them. You can grow those into weekly goals, like stay on my grocery budget, or check in with my spouse on our goals, update the budget worksheets, and on and on and on. So remember to not only write them down, but check in with them often. Also, create a written budget. A lot of people honestly don't do this. So that is really scary when you're first getting started. And I'm going to show you in a couple of minutes just a couple of tips for like getting that budget actually started if you've never done that. So actually creating a written budget and then checking in with it as well. And it's kind of like your goals. Your written budget is basically just your money goals written down, and the intentionality, how you intend to spend your money. You just write it down on paper. It doesn't have to be a big extravagant thing. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. It's simply just writing down, okay, this is how much money we made on payday. This is what bills I need to pay. This is how much I intend to spend on groceries. This is how much I intend to spend on gas. This is how much I intend to spend on fun money. This is how much I intend to save. This is how much I intend to pay to debt. It is literally that simple. And that's all you have to do is just write it down and check in with it. So these kind of things are not going to happen on accident. Becoming successful and successful with money and successful with anything else in your life does not happen on accident. And you can ask any millionaire, any billionaire, any successful person in the entire world, and they will tell you that it does not happen on accident. That you have to continue to look for ways to grow. So one of the habits that I think is really important is looking for ways to grow. So that's reading more books, reading more blogs, finding more influencers to follow, more positive people, more people who put out good vibes and challenge you and make you want to do better. That might mean unfollowing negative people and people who don't make you feel good. Listening to podcasts, listening to audiobooks, those are literally my lifelines. If you have young kids and you're a stay-at-home parent, listening to the audio from a podcast or a video or an audiobook is going to give you life. Because if you're used to spending the majority of your day with little ones, having just a little bit of adult conversation, obviously you're not talking back to that person. I mean, you could if you wanted to, but having another adult in your ear is, even still, it is one of my favorite things to listen to audiobooks and podcasts. Things like joining courses or picking up classes, whatever it is, maybe picking up a new hobby. Yes, I've been loving podcasts too, Dana. Yes, for sure. Starting exercising, starting your spiritual journey, all of these things tie into each other. And I didn't do any of this. I didn't work out. I didn't read the Bible daily. I didn't worry really about what I ate. I didn't care about growing and listening to audiobooks or listening to podcasts or checking in with my husband on his goals. I didn't do any of that before this journey. But I found out along the way that I have to do all these things to be successful, and they all tie into each other. Like I said, it is about so much more than money. I just cannot stress that enough. So I want to share just four really quick tips for setting up your budget. If you've never set up a budget, a lot of you probably have. You've probably been through my free course or watched some of my videos or read some of my blogs or things like that. But if you're still just getting started, my 4 top tips for getting started are number one, create a unique budget every single budget period. Even if your pay is exactly the same every single paycheck, you need to be rewriting it or typing it if you type it. You need to be rewriting your budget every single budget period and making sure that you're accounting for things like maybe you're having friends over this weekend and your grocery budget needs to be a little bit higher. Maybe your kid is in a hobby and they have something they need to pay for and it's going to be, a little bit more expensive, or, it's wintertime and your electric bill is a little bit higher, or whatever it is. Every single budget period needs to have their own unique budget. You need to make sure that you're accounting for everything that's actually happening, not just copying, pasting every single thing. Do it unique every single time. And also making your budget unique for your own family. I try really hard to not talk about percentages. A lot of people will talk about, you shouldn't spend more than this % on your house. You shouldn't spend more than this % of your income on your groceries. You shouldn't, whatever. I try really hard to not talk about that kind of stuff because I feel like we're all on our own unique journeys. And, maybe you have 10 kids and your grocery budget is ginormous and that percentage doesn't match up. You don't want to feel like a failure because you have a lot of kids to feed. Or, maybe you live in a really expensive city and your cost of living is just higher. Your house is a lot more expensive, or whatever it is. I don't want you to ever feel like you're wrong, because all of our budgets are unique. All of our families are unique. All of our situations are unique. And that's okay as long as you're being intentional with where your money goes and as long as you're happy with how you're spending your money. For example, when we've been on this journey this 4 years. Our oldest daughter, June, is in her 4th year of dance class. Dance class is not cheap. We have 2 in dance class now. And we never took her out of dance. We obviously started that before we got on our budget, and we discussed, should we take her out of dance? She, for one, is homeschooled. And so just having that, that discipline, that social engagement, all that kind of stuff is one of her favorite things of the week. And she is just an artist at heart. And so it's her way of expressing herself. And she absolutely loves it. And she's amazing at it for only her 4th year. And it was really important to us that she stay in. And a lot of people would have looked at that $50 a month, plus all of the shoes and the costumes and all of that. If your guys' kids are in hobbies, you know that it's always more than just the monthly fee. But it was so important to us to keep her in that we were willing for our goals to get pushed back a little bit farther. We were willing to pinch pennies on our groceries or do whatever we needed to do to keep her in there, because that was our priority. And so I'm not going to look at your budget and tell you need to take your kid out of dance class. You just can't afford it. I mean, who am I to tell you that? Also, one of the things we did was we cut our satellite TV, Netflix, Hulu. Now we have Amazon Prime. We didn't then, but now we have all that. And I was okay with that. I was okay with not having satellite TV. But back before like Pandora and all that, before you could watch that kind of stuff on your TV, I had an XM radio in the house, like a stereo, like an old school stereo, but it was an XM radio. And my husband was like, this XM radio is expensive, and I think that we need to cut it. And I was like, look here, I stay home all day with these kids. You leave me and you work offshore for 3 weeks, and I need that radio. You already took my TV. You already took this. You already took that. Like, I need this radio. And we kept our radio, but we got rid of our TV. And who am I to tell you, what is good for your family and what isn't? So make sure that you are making your budget unique to your priorities. Make sure that you agree on it with your spouse. Make sure you're being intentional with it. Make sure that it feels good, that it is going to get you to your goals in whatever time you think is necessary. If your goals take you 5 times longer than someone else's, but you're happy with it and you're being intentional and you're not living in survival mode, that's your business. So make it unique to your own family. Number 3 is organize and separate your money. It is so important to make sure you know where your money is going. So whether you organize it on paper or you do a debit card, you do cash, however you do it, make sure that you organize it. I also have a really good blog and a really good video about how I organize my bank accounts. It's one of my most popular videos because it's something a lot of people don't talk about. So real quick, it would be really beneficial if you haven't seen it to go and watch it because it's a really great video. But how I organize my bank accounts, we're debit card people. I have really small kids. I don't feel safe carrying cash. I don't like to go in to pay for my gas. Things like I shop online a lot because I don't leave the house a lot of things like that. So we're totally debit card people, but this can work if you do cash as well. But what we do is our money comes in direct deposit, and on payday, it goes straight into our bills account. We make sure all of our bills are accounted for, plus we leave a $10 buffer just because I hate to see my bank account at zero. And then we write out what our spending allowance is going to be for that pay period. We transfer only our spending allowance money into another debit card account that we both have debit cards for. And then we kind of keep up with those individual categories on paper, like our gas, our groceries, et cetera, et cetera. And then any money that is left over used to go to paying off debt now goes straight into our savings account. It's really simple. So you can do this as well as if you use cash, you just separate it into envelopes. So that is really, really important to not have all your money all tangled up like that. Number 4 is to check in, reevaluate, and update your budget often. This is not something that you can kind of set and forget kind of thing. You need to check in. You need to reevaluate it. If you're halfway through your budget period, you need to know where your spending money is going. You need to be tracking it. You need to be making sure that you're not overspending. You need to check in with it often. And if you're very first starting, you might want to check on it every single day. I did. I literally did every single morning after breakfast. My kids would run and play. I would check on my budget real quick, make sure everything was good, and go about my day. And as I got better and better at it, I went to a couple of times a week, once a week, and now it's kind of a couple of times a week, once a week. It's kind of how I do it now. Just kind of check in on everything. So those are my 4 tips for setting up your own budget. Obviously, I have a lot more. If you're not familiar with my other videos or my blogs, you should go and check them out. There's a lot more tips on there as well. But the very best resource that I have for you guys is my course. A lot of you here are in my course, and it is so amazing. And a lot of these subjects, we go way more into detail in the course, and that is really the best way to get all of that kind of stuff set up. And we walk like step by step through everything in the course. And if you're interested in learning more, I would love to have you in the course, of course. I love seeing new people join. So if you are curious about the course or you're just now hearing about it for the first time, I wanted to give you guys just a really quick sneak peek inside of the course and inside the worksheets. This is something that I've only done one other time, is do a live inside the course. And that was on the day that I launched the course, which was back in September. So it's been a few months. So I want to do a real quick screen share and just show you guys real quick what it looks like inside the course for any of you who aren't students of the course. So let me pop over into screen share really quick. It looks super crazy when you do that. Okay, here it is. Okay, so this is the inside of my course. And just so you guys know, I can't see the chat box at all when I'm on the screen share. So if you ask any questions, I'll get to them right after this. So I'm not ignoring you. So this is the inside of the course, and it's called Your Sunny Money Method. And you get a little progress bar over here. So you start with this little intro lesson here, and it's just like a little welcome video from me. Most of these are either videos with my face or with slides. So you can, that's an amazing little thumbnail that they pick for you. So it's a little welcome video, a little meet your budgeting coach, a little bit more about the support in my Facebook group, a little pep talk here. These are amazing thumbnails. I love them so much. So then we move on to, we have this foundation module over here. And the foundation module is 10 lessons. And this is basically the why behind it. Like I said, the mindset is so important. So the mindset is a third of this course. And so you go through what to do when you're too overwhelmed to start. These little videos here I want to make this are just little, this first 10 lessons are videos where I just kind of give you a pep talk, talk to you one-on-one about what to do when you're too overwhelmed to start, when you feel like you're too broke to budget, a little bit about minimalism, making the time for couples, for parents, how to talk to your family and friends, why we buy things with time, not money, and the mindset behind becoming debt-free. Then we move on to the organization module, and this is 20 lessons in here, and this is the how. So this is all about how to organize, kind of like what I just mentioned about how to organize, establishing your priorities. This is basically the order that you should do things in, how to set up your goals, how to do your bills. And these bills are broken down into what to do just kind of overall, before payday, on payday, all those kind of things. A lot of lessons about spending. I think there's 4 lessons here about spending, savings, debt. There's 4 on debt. There's several on savings, a little bit on building your wealth and ways to cut back your expenses and also ways to increase your income. So that's the last 20 lessons. So there's 30 lessons in all, 10 on the why, 20 on the how. Also, one of my favorite perks is that you get access to all of my worksheets here. So this kind of will give you a walkthrough of like how to do the worksheets, and then you can either print them here or you can click here and get the digital Google Drive version of them. So I'm going to show them to you really quick. Let me just pop over here so you can see them a little bit better. But there are bills worksheets. And like I said, if you get the Google version, you can go right in here and just type in these, or you can print them and handwrite them. There's spending worksheets. There's debt worksheets. There are savings worksheets. You get 3. You get a sinking fund, a savings chart, and a future savings chart. You get a net worth chart, a basic goals list, a blank calendar, and an account info. So you don't have to, try to remember what all your passwords and all of that are. So all of those come in the course as well. Plus, my favorite things, you get a bonus module. You get access to my affiliate network. We have a referral program. You get any PDFs that I make for like other workshops and stuff. You get free access to them. And my favorite bonus resource is this interview that I did with my husband. And it is this really cute video. He is hilarious. So that is an amazing resource. Let's see what else. So, and another great feature is that we have live monthly group coaching sessions. And we've already done 5 because, like I said, this course launched back in September. So we do one every single month. We actually just did one yesterday. Let me see if it'll let me pop in here. Hello. Okay. It's being really slow and it won't let me go in here. But there it goes. Okay. So we do these little, now it's popping all over the place. Okay. We do these little group coaching sessions, and we just started doing this new platform where everyone can have camera access. So we can all be on camera. We can kind of hang out and all of this kind of stuff. Let's see. How many books? Because I've started. So this was really fun to get on here with all the ladies and kind of do this live group coaching. And honestly, I feel like this group coaching is worth, everything. It is worth the whole entire course. It's one of my favorite things. Let me pop out of screen share mode really quick. Let's see. Stop screen sharing. Okay, there we go. It's always like really awkward to try to figure out how to do that. All right. Let's see. All right, but anyway, so I hope that that all was like clear and you guys could really see in there and everything. But some of my favorite things about the course is that it is totally go at your own pace, which is perfect when you're busy. The lessons are really short. They're really simple, so you can just go at your own pace. You're not rushed to do it in just a few weeks. You have lifetime access to it, so you're not going to like run out of time and lose access to it. So you can totally take your own time. You can go back and do the lessons again. You can check in, all those kind of things. And after you're done with the whole lesson, you are still a part of the course, so you can join us for the monthly group coaching and like all that kind of fun stuff. Plus, there's always free updates. I'm always adding stuff and all that kind of stuff. And it's just a one-time fee, so you don't have to worry about increasing the price or anything like that, which the price is going to go up in just a couple of months. I'm not really sure when, but I'm going to be adding like more updates, and it'll go up, but you'll be safe from that. So it's just like a one-time fee. Plus, my very favorite thing, and one of the things that I get the most good feedback on, is that you actually have access to me. So I'm not like some mysterious, like famous person that like you can't talk to. You can send me an email and I email you back. And I'm always there for the monthly group coaching. So I'm a real person, and like you actually get to talk to me. That's one of my favorite things, and I get the most feedback. They're like, wow, you actually answered this email and things like that. But anyway, so you guys, there are all of my resources below here in the description of this video. There's my free resources, my free email course, my free budgeting, my free debt payoff worksheets, all of my budgeting worksheets, my course, all that stuff. And they're all great products, and I'm proud of all of them. And the free products are a really great place to start. But of course, there is a difference between the free products and the paid products. And it's basically just your level of commitment. It's basically what you're ready to commit to, what your goals are. If you're really ready to do this and to start achieving your goals and living that life and break free of that survival mode, it's really up to you, your level of commitment. And if the paid course isn't for you, that's totally fine. I know that it's not for everyone. But I just want to kind of leave you guys with the words of encouragement that if you're looking for a magic solution, if you're looking for success to fall in your lap, it's not going to happen. That's just not the way it goes. And I'll be really honest with you. I've been on this journey for several years now. And I shared with you a lot of my lessons learned. But one of the lessons that I also learned was that it's not easy, and it does take work. It does take commitment. And you have to commit to it in order to be successful with it and in order to have a better life. So the really great part is that it doesn't have to take you that long. It took me several years to just kind of settle into my budget and figure out what I was doing. It doesn't have to take you that long, because I'm here to help you, and that's what I do. I help women just like you every single day in my emails, in my course, on social media, all that kind of stuff. And, you know, I know exactly how you feel. 4 years ago, I was sitting exactly where you're sitting. I was in survival mode. I was scared. I was overwhelmed. You know, I didn't know what to do, and I felt like I was really alone on this journey. Sorry, I'm gonna take a drink of water. But, you know, I just want you guys to know that you don't have to stay in survival mode, that I honestly believe that we were all called for abundant life. And I feel like we should be taking steps every single day to reach those goals. And I want to help you do that. So let me know how I can help you, whether it's with the free products, whether it's in the course, whether you just need some encouragement in an email, whatever it is, let me know. Of course, I would love to have you in the course. We are at a little over 70 students right now in just 5 months, which I feel like is really great. 7 of those students we just welcomed in January, and I'm hoping that February will be an even bigger month. And I would love for you to be one of those ladies that joins us in February if you feel like it's right for you. But whatever resource is right for you, let me know how I can help you. That's what I'm here for. That's what I do every day. And let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to hang out for a couple of minutes and see if there are any questions. Let me see. I opened a separate checking account, so my spending account is linked to a debit card, but my bills account, which is not linked to my debit card, so I don't spend bills by accident. Yeah, that's exactly what I recommend, is having 2 separate checking accounts. I actually do have a debit card for my bills account just for like paying bills online and stuff. But I also have checks as well, so I can actually write checks. But I pay a lot of my bills online, so I do have a debit card for both. But yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about, is basically just keeping them separate so you don't accidentally spend the money that you were supposed to spend on your house payment on groceries or something like that. And it really helps you keep those separate. So yeah. Let's see. All right. Let me know if there's any other questions in the chat box real quick. We've almost been on for an hour, so I don't want to keep you guys much longer than that. I know you guys have things to do. But also, like I said, you know, if you guys have not signed up for that free email course, it is really the best place to start. It's the place that a lot of people start. It gets you going with tracking your spending. It also just gets you on my email list so you can stay updated with all of my new blogs, my workshops, all my free things that I offer. And if you hit reply to that lesson 1, tell me your why. We can start a conversation. You can let me know how I can help you in any other way. And those are my favorite emails to get, is just like, I'm fed up. This is what I want to do. And I love having those conversations with you guys. So those are my all-time favorite. But yeah, if you ever just have any questions, hit me up, send me an email, find me on Facebook. Our Facebook community is growing and growing. I'm on Instagram every single day in the stories and sharing, you know, my life and my kids with everyone. And the YouTube channel is growing and growing. I'm on here every Monday for Motivational Monday and sometimes throughout the week as well. Yes. All right. She said, thanks. And I ordered checks for the bills account only. Yeah, I don't have checks for my spending account, and I have considered getting them because there have been times where I've needed them. But a lot of times I'll just pull the cash out or just like pay it online with my debit card or something like that. So yeah, great question. Does anybody else have any questions before I jump off? I really appreciate you guys joining me. Let's see. You said earlier to reevaluate your budget every budgeting period. How long would your budget period be? Every paycheck. Yeah, it really varies. So it kind of, once you settle into your budget, I always recommend kind of doing a trial and error and figuring out what works for you. So you could do a monthly budget. You could do a weekly. You could do every 2 weeks. You can do, yeah, kind of readjust according to how your pay periods are. For us, our pay period is really crazy. We actually do a 6-week budget, which makes sense to literally nobody else. One of the reasons why I had to like create my own worksheets and all that stuff, because we do a 6-week budget. Like, how random is that? So my husband gets paid, and then 2 weeks later he gets paid again, and then 4 weeks later he gets paid again. And that's how it goes. And it's really crazy. So we do a 6-week budget because we saw we have a 2-week paycheck and then we have a 4-week paycheck. So 6 weeks, and it makes sense. And we see that pattern repeat. So basically you want to see where a pattern repeats itself and do a trial and error period. So there's really no wrong answer. It's what makes sense for you, what feels right. So you could have, if you do a monthly budget and you get paid every single week, you could have 4 paychecks in one budget period if that feels right for you. A really good rule of thumb, and I mentioned this in the course as well. Sorry. I mentioned this in the course as well. A really good rule of thumb for how long your budget period should be is how often do you want to set your grocery budget? I think that that's really like a good rule of thumb. Like, do you want a monthly grocery budget or a weekly grocery budget or so on and so on? Okay, yeah, Rebecca said, okay, thank you. That helps. I'm glad. You're welcome. Yeah, so let me know if you guys have any other questions, but I really appreciate you guys joining me. If you're watching this replay, I appreciate you as well. If you have any questions that you didn't get a chance to ask during the live session, you can always send me an email. I'm always here to help, or look me up on Facebook or Instagram, and that's a really easy place to find me as well. So I'm going to go, and I appreciate you guys so much for joining me. If you guys want to take advantage of any of those resources, like I said, the links are below in the description of the video. You're going to find my free resources. You're going to find my full set of budgeting worksheets. You're going to find the course, which also includes the worksheets, that kind of stuff. You're going to find the link to my website if you want to go read some of the blogs. Some of my other videos are here on YouTube, all that kind of stuff. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm going to go. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, guys.